fashion editorials? A fashion editorial is a collection of images that are published in fashion magazines and tell a story about a clothing collection. But what makes a fashion editorial? I believe the connective tissue to these publications is the in-depth creative vision, the collective theme across the images, and a little level of weirdness. In this video, I will share a breakdown on how I recently shot a fashion editorial. I'll cover the lighting setups, location, and various tips and tricks. Additionally, I'll explain my creative vision and how I ensured a consistent theme throughout the different looks using props, wardrobe, hair, and makeup. For my recent photo shoot, my theme was a boxing femme fatale. I wanted to showcase the model in a grungy environment, but still showcase the clothing in a glamorous way. I mentioned there's gotta be a level of weirdness to images. And what I mean by that is, next time you look into a fashion magazine, take a look at the photos. There's always something that stands out in juxtaposition to the clothing. It could be a random prop, a weird setting, a model expression, or some composition choice that just isn't what you're expecting. Now, this shoot was just me, the model Angie, you've seen her on the channel, she's a wonderful model, and my wonderful hair and makeup artist, Maria. Normally I'd have more people helping me out on these shoots, but I lost both of my assistants. They both had emergencies real last minute. So I had to do all this by myself. So you're gonna see me struggling in the behind the scenes video. I wanted to establish the boxing theme. I wanted the model to feel like she was training, in high heels, in a black dress, very high fashion, whatever. Now for lighting, I used a Amaranth 300C with a large softbox and a grid on it for the key light. I feathered off the light to the background. I like to do that a lot. I like to put a very soft light on someone and kind of just move it so it doesn't get the background. I also used a Forza 500 as a backlight to kind of serve as like a bright spotlight, kind of make it look like, maybe we're in the ring right now. To fill in the face, I added some color. I used two Amaranth PT4Cs as like a top light, and also sometimes I just held it and it's as like a fill light when I need to bring up some level to the face. The 300C was mostly what's lighting, the talent, and I tried to make it more warmer than the Amaranth tube lights. So I had the warm light coming from the Amaranth 300C, and then I had a cooler light coming from the tube lights. I also used haze in a can, but the space was kind of large. It was a big warehouse, so I couldn't really keep the haze in the images. So sometimes there's haze, sometimes there's not. It didn't really last that long. For my cinema camera, I used my Canon C70, and I just got some new DZO Vespid primes. Love these lenses. I can't wait to do a review on them in the future. I want to wait till I kind of complete my set. Right now I have the 25mm and the 35. I'm probably gonna get a 50 and a 75, but at least a 50mm in the future. So when I do, I'll keep you guys updated. Ultimately, I love the way these images turned out. I love the fact that the model was like glamorous, but we also tried to make it more grungy inside the ring, and I think it turned out great. Now for the second setup, the idea was Highkey, and the theme I had for it was like green. I wanted these images to have like a little greenness to them. Maybe she threw the fight, maybe she's fighting as a boxer, she threw the fight and she's feeling really, confident about it. I don't know, that was my headspace when I was thinking about those images. So I pushed these images a little bit more green and blue than I normally do. For the lighting, I used the Amaranth 300C with a large softbox with no grid because I just wanted pure, like super soft light for the key light. I used the Amaranth tube lights as a backlight and also as like a very close-up fill. The goal here was to make the lighting as soft as possible while keeping the hair and the makeup kind of moody. We had the model in a sports bra and shorts and boxing gloves, and I even put the model in some boxing headgear. Those images turned out pretty cool. But I tried to wait till the end to do that because I knew that was gonna mess up the hair and makeup. And also I knew that those images were not the like highlight of all these images. I just think it was a great way to, keep that theme going and really highlight the fact that this is like a boxing fashion shoot. The theme for the third look was like the payout. I wanted to imagine that she was on the run, she maybe threw the fight, she had a briefcase full of cash. Having this prop like this does one thing. It makes it obvious that something is shady. It tells a story without doing too much. And that's why I like having a prop like this. Also, having a prop like this will allow a model to just kind of run with the idea and, have fun with it and play around with the money. She was like counting the money. She was messing around with the briefcase. So I love having a prop that kind of just makes the model kind of turn off their brain and just kind of focus on, having fun with the images. For the lighting, I used the Amaranth 300C with a large softbox. This time I put the grid on it for more of control of the light. I wanted the color to be a little bit warmer, and that's one of the reasons why I'm loving the Amaranth 300C and the Amaranth P4Cs. I'm loving the idea of like messing with color temperature a little bit rather than just shooting at 5600 Kelvin or, like daylight or tungsten. So I like having the control there. I used two Amaranth PT4Cs, say that 1,000 times, adding more bluer tones to the face and even on the background a little bit, even though I didn't want it to look a little bit too staged. And I love the way these images turned out. I love the fact that there was this like beat down couch in the corner that we kind of moved around and tried to make it work. So it's like she's on the run, She's like, she just stole all this money or, she threw a fight or whatever. And now she's just lounging and kind of enjoying that, that freedom that maybe she got. That was my thought process. And that's look number 3. The last look was inspired by the idea that the model is now really on the run. She has the briefcase handcuffed to her hands. I just love that. I think I'm gonna do that another time. I like the idea of a handcuffed briefcase. It's just like very cinematic, very movie. She had a bright red dress on, which also gave a moody look. And we went more edgier and more crazier with the hair and makeup. Now for the lighting here, as much as I'm happy with the results here, I was running out of time in this location. I was shooting by myself. So this didn't turn out the way I actually really wanted it to turn out. I wanted more of a super soft, like huge, bouncing light on the model, but that would have made me have to put my scrims up, maybe booklight the model. I would have had to maybe push more lights through the diffusion, and I just didn't have the time and I just couldn't do it myself. For the lighting, we used the Amaranth 300C with the Larv softbox, and I put the grid on it for the key light. We then used another Amaranth 300C, and I kind of blasted it to the ceiling, which I didn't mind that part. Just like a red tone hitting the ceiling, bouncing everywhere. If it was like more white walls, it would have probably been softer. I didn't mind that part. I just wish I had more, soft level on the model. I wanted it to feel more natural, almost like a, you know, like a moonlight or something. I love how the images turned out. You know, Angie has great expressions, and I love the fact that it was like moody, and I kind of shot like voyeuristic in the corner, and I like how these images turned out, even though they weren't what I originally planned. Now, the tips I would like to give you is, even if you're not shooting, you know, something that's going to be published, it's good to have a vision that links all the different looks you're shooting. Kind of think like, if this was in a magazine, how would this story, you know, from A to B to C, you know, from beginning, middle to end, how would it actually flow in an editorial? And I think that'll be a good thing for a lot of photographers when they're shooting, is to kind of think of, okay, this is a really cool look, but does this fit the overall theme of what I'm trying to create for today's shoot or something like that? Because I have the habit too, where I will shoot 3 looks that match and one that is kind of like, you know, oh, okay, that's cool, but it doesn't really feel the same, you know what I mean? So by having a theme of the boxing femme fatale, I could ensure that there were like little props and thought processes going into all the different looks. Now, if you felt like that theme was communicated effectively, I don't know, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, when you look at these images, but at least that's getting me on the right path to making more editorial style work. So that's all I have to say about how to create fashion editorial work. I had a blast shooting with Angie and Maria, and this was just a really fun shoot. And let me know if you have any questions about photography or videography in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Peace. Also, I bought a red camera, so really excited about that. We will be shooting and doing more stuff with the red. It's the red Komodo 6K. I don't want to buy the X because I have too many cameras and it's expensive.